Hi everyone, today I want to show you a few techniques to kind of play around with some images and make some digital collages that maybe we can get onto canvas later and paint with. I brought up this little snapshot I took of some 3D models I've made, and I just want to see what happens when I start overlaying textures to see if I can get something new from them. So I'm going to go to um, my open menu. I've got this up, and I'm going to go to place embedded, and let's just see about a fun texture that I have as my wallpaper like this. I just want to affect the central character for right now. Okay, so I can drop this down. I can lower the opacity a little bit so you can kind of see the figure underneath, and it's just slightly affected by the texture I put. But the other thing you have as an option is playing with these layer tools. And what they do is they kind of blend the two layers together and affect them. And I really like that already. You can play with all of these, but this is something that's always a good thing to figure out what's going to happen to your images. Look how much color you get from doing a color burn. It's using the top image to color burn that onto the layer underneath it. I think that's really great, and you can see the difference between these two here. But for right now, um, yeah, let's stick with color burn and see where this takes us. Now, I only want to I don't like this like cutout look for right now. So I'm just going to erase away everything around it. So I just had this kind of extra color gone. Already much better. Perfect. And now I want to, I'm going to merge these layers down so that I can really affect all of them together. So I'm going to hit merge layers, and I'm going to make a copy of this layer so I can affect it, since this layer is locked and I don't want to do anything to mess with the original image that I had. Now I'm going to go up and I'm going to play around with Puppet Warp. Now when you see Puppet Warp, you get this very strange kind of grid that's trying its best to show 3 dimensions in a 2-dimensional forms. And what you can do is you can click on different layers within the grid. Oh, I don't want to spin this at all. And you can start to kind of pull and bend these individual points, all right? And really get something abstract from pulling at all of this. Right. I'm not really worried about the images on the left and the right because I'm going to crop all that out. I'm more interested in just kind of getting a texture at this point that I can use for something else. And I don't want to see a face in it. I like starting with a face here, but I don't want to end up with a face. I do kind of like that texture. Oh, that's good and interesting. I'm kind of getting this like digital goo from this central shape. I'm going to stick with the... Oh, cool. Very good. And I'm going to go ahead and crop this image down because I only want this little section here. And I'm thinking that this is going to be a great landscape. So I'm going to go up to image rotation, and I'm going to start spinning this thing around to there. We'll go ahead and do away with this background. And I want to now erase away everything that isn't, oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Erase away everything that isn't this object. And I want to make sure I'm getting this white and gray checker pattern, which is telling me that when I import this file, there's going to be nothing that comes with it. It's just going to be this thing and nothing around it. It's going to import invisibly other than this object. Okay, liking this already. Cool. I'm going to save this when my computer lets me as ground. I want to keep it as a Photoshop file for right now. And just so I can find it quickly, I want to save it to my desktop. Perfect. Now I'm going to switch over to this image I stole from the internet, which is apparently from a video game. Please don't tell me which one. I don't particularly care. But I was really interested in this like very overly romantic, iridescent sky and the color palette of it. But I'm not super interested in the ground. I'm going to go through and kind of touch up some of the things I don't particularly need. Like I don't think this is here, so I took the Band-Aid Content Aware tool, and I can kind of just erase things that I don't think will like do anything for this painting that I'm planning on making. And I like kind of making this more abstract than it currently is. But I also don't really want the ground here. And I can go through and use the Band-Aid tool, but I can also take this marquee tool selection, select the area I don't particularly like, go up to edit, go to fill, make sure it's on content aware and hit OK. And that is very interesting. I'm not super into this like super repeating pattern, but some of you might be. Sometimes it's just a taste thing. But let's try this again and get a little bit of this out. Maybe keep some of it because it is a nice color. Yeah, that's much more interesting. And now it's like a very confusing kind of sky pattern we have. I think we need a little more of it. So I'm going to go up to image, canvas size. I want to keep the top and just add more to the bottom. So I'm anchoring it from the top. I'm going to add a few inches, maybe up 15 inches. That's going to fill this up with just blank canvas and white. I'm going to do the same thing though, use my marquee tool, come up to edit, fill, and it's going to algorithmically use the information above to fill in this space below. It looks like a wallpaper though because of these over repeating patterns. So let's see if I can kind of fix some of that with some of these content aware fills. But I might need to actually paint in with the clone stamp at some point too. But you can see how it's looking at the information outside of the box and trying to figure out what to put inside of the box based on that. Let's see. That didn't do much. Let's switch over to the clone stamp tool. I'm going to hover over and hit the Alt key on my keyboard and get this little target. I'm going to pick that up, and now I can paint with this section of the painting I have. And let's get some of this color just to kind of balance that out just a little bit. That's interesting. Yeah. Can also use the smudge tool to kind of make it so these hard lines aren't here as much, kind of make this softer, which I definitely want to do. Now we're starting to get it less obvious that we have this repeating pattern. I'm just kind of adding more information. Maybe switching it up here too while we're at it. Having a little bit more open space. I like that. It's starting to be interesting. And now, let's go ahead and go down to Place Embedded. And what did I save that as? Ground. Okay, perfect. A little small, but I'm not super concerned with pixelation for right now. I kind of like it being a little bit not high resolution. I like it being abstract and this kind of like goo that's starting to happen. Okay, perfect. And now I've got this kind of like landscape happening, but it's like a metallic, gooey landscape with this kind of interesting sky floating above it. There's already starting to be something that I'm interested in. Yeah, cool. I think this would make an interesting painting. We're going to stop there, but right now this is like setting a scene of a painting, and we can start kind of integrating figures into this image and some other things going forward. But let's go ahead and stop here.